There are crazy people out there every single freaking day that are fighting for our ability to never be allowed to ride a horse or to even own a horse. And if there was ever a time where it seemed like that could be possible, now is that time. It is absolutely astonishing to believe that there could be laws in place that would keep us from being allowed to ride horses or even own horses. And when we look at why that could ever be possible, I think that it really boils down to one singular reason, one root cause that would allow that to ever become a possibility. And it's in our control. And here's the thing, in this video, guys, one of my biggest pet peeves is someone bringing up a problem but not providing a solution to it. So we're going to discuss the issue, and we're going to get into the solution, because it does us no good if we do not come together as professionals, as professional horse people, or people all across the industry, and band together to prevent this from ever happening. And you might be watching this going, oh, it's not possible. And I'm telling you, it is closer now than it has ever been before, but it's not there yet. And we can still do something about it if we pull our head out of our and we use some common sense and we dive into it. And for those of y'all that are new here, my name's Colton Woods, and I'm here to share the exact horse training and business strategies, lessons, approaches, techniques that have helped me go from a life far, far away from horses to building a highly successful horse business built on high quality horsemanship and sound business practices. You know, along the way, I'd never had time for some of the BS fluff that some trainers spend time trying to teach people so that you become dependable upon them, and they use confusion and ego and all that stuff gets in the way. And frankly, I had to build my business as quickly and as successfully as I could because I was trying to eat and make a living while building my business and developing my horsemanship. So we get right to the core of things, and in videos like this, we dive straight into controversial issues and topics within the industry that we need to tackle head on. We can never fix things that by ignoring them. And oftentimes an opposition like we're up against that we're going to talk about today, they fight dirty and they fight with emotion. And a lot of us want to be the silent majority and remain quiet and stay politically correct and hope that these things will go away. And few of us will sound off and talk about things behind closed doors. But guess what? That does not fix things. So in full transparency, these videos are merely my personal effort to share high quality horsemanship and horse business strategies so they can serve you and help you along your journey as a horse professional in this industry. And together we can leave this industry and build this industry into something better than it was when we arrived in it, and we can leave it in a better place for future generations. As I've been brainstorming how to tackle this, I'm just going to be very upfront with you. This is going to be very personal. This could trigger quite a few people. I'm not doing this to get people upset. I am simply doing this because we have something we're fighting for. Our industry, our lifestyle, whether you wear a cowboy hat and jeans or you wear a helmet and you wear breeches, we are on the same team, right? It's not English or Western. It's not normal moving horses versus gated horses, right? It's not that at all. It is the horse community against everyone out there that wants to see us never be allowed to own horses, ride horses, enjoy horses, do anything with them. You know what they want to do? They want to set them all free and watch them starve to death. Watch them all go crippled because they don't know anything about what they're talking about. Their entire fight is based strictly on emotion. Strictly on emotion. And this is personal because we're not just fighting against something that's just some make-believe creature. We're fighting against other people that want to take the thing that you love away from you so much. And I take that personally because this lifestyle has blessed my life. I did not grow up in the horse industry. I firmly believe that God planted a seed. He has a purpose for me within this industry because I was the last kid on the block that should have ever been dressed like this and been successful with horses up to this point and have such a deep-rooted passion then I'm willing to take on as much scrutiny as necessary to fight for an industry that is so incredible. I've met my wife because of this. I've started my family because of this. I've gone from living in town to having a ranch, all because of the passion for horses. And I've had so many amazing people come into my life, and I know you have too. I'm bringing this up because I want you to think about the amount of the people that you've met and how important they are to you. Many of you probably have started a family, but they would not have done that had you and someone else not had a mutual love for horses. And there are people that want to take that away from us. They want to take that away from future generations. And those people are out there. Guess what? We have to really break this down into like who, what, when, where, and why. Right? That's probably the most logical framework that we can use to break this down. And who it is a bunch of emotionally fed, uninformed, never gotten actual hands-on experience people that are so far removed from this lifestyle, that are caught up in this romantic fantasy that we can just kick them all free, that they think that every time we ride a horse that we're crippling them. And guess what? We have a bigger problem, right? Like that's who we're fighting, but we're feeding the beast as an industry. And I'm going to get into that part of the issue here, right? Because that is the part that we have control over, but we are feeding our own enemy every single freaking day. I see it across every platform. And many people are feeding the beast unintentionally. But the first thing for us to make any type of change within this business, it starts with our awareness. It starts with our awareness, then it comes to create intentional action, right? I'm here to bring some awareness and talk about some intentional action that we can do to stop feeding the monster that we're fighting together and to actually fight back against it. Because there's so few people fighting this beast. And we need more people to become vocal. Because guess what? Who we're fighting, they're loud, they're obnoxious, they're emotional, they fight freaking dirty. All right? I'm not suggesting we fight dirty, but what I am suggesting is that we fight back. Right? And we have to fight back on their battlefield. We have to fight back in a style that can win. All right? So if we look at who, what, when, where, why, what are they doing, right? They're trying to take our rights away. They're trying to pass legal legislature, documents within Congress, within states, and within the federal government to take away our right to actually do anything with horses. If you look at what they're doing in New York City, if you look at what they're doing in LA, and they've started this with like going up against bull riding, PBR. They're going after them and getting that to where they can't have rodeos in certain counties, in certain cities, in certain states, right? They're trying to get it outlawed, right? If they can get bull riding outlawed, then they can get rodeo outlawed. They're chipping away. They're going after the most susceptible things. That's why you see so many, and I'm not saying that our industry is perfect. We have to improve the things. That's part of the solutions part we're going to talk about, right? We have things that we need to fix, okay? We have things that we need to fix, but we got something we need to do before that. Which is the number one reason I think that if this ever happened would be not because we got things to fix, but because of this other issue. We're going to get to that in a second, right? But we have to look at the fact that if they can chip away at one industry or one event at a time, they're getting one step closer and one step closer and one step closer. And guess what? Then it becomes a magnitude, right? They get that ball rolling, and then it's hard for us to catch up, right? We cannot allow that ball to grow anymore. They try to back way in. You remember those ELD mandates where everybody was going to put the electronic logging devices in their trucks, even in private vehicles, and log all of that? That was a back-ended way for them to get into our industry, to make it so expensive and so difficult that many of us couldn't afford to go do the things we love to do with our horses. They were trying to make it so difficult and so expensive for private ownership to be able to go to horse shows, go to barrel races, be able to break our trips down to where we can only travel so many miles. And it's going to take us that much longer to get to these places to where it doesn't become possible. It doesn't become worth it. That was animal rights activists, right? Animal rights activists. They're not activating for animals' rights. They're going to be the ultimate demise of many of these creatures' lives for what they're trying to do. We have to stop it right there because it's very clear what they're trying to do. And when is right now. Right now. Like whenever you watch this video, if you're like, when's the fight on? Now, today. Today. Okay? And if we look at it, there's one organization. If you guys know of other organizations that are fighting against these people, like, and I'm talking about in court, like legislature versus legislature. There's only one organization I know. I'm going to link them down below because if you want to support them, if you want to learn more about them, I'm going to put their link down below because they need our support. And it's called Western Justice. Okay? Western Justice is like the only organization that I'm personally aware of that is fighting against these people. Okay? And I'm not saying that there's not nonprofit, other smaller entities, or even just entities that are trying to combat some of this on a smaller scale. But Western Justice's sole focus is to fight for our rights as an industry. And they're the ones going up and spending money on lawyers to fight against PETA, to fight against these animal rights activists. Western Justice is the new deal. And if you guys want to learn more about it, check the link out because, and they're not paying me to promote this. I want us to promote them because they're out there fighting for us. And I think that's a pretty fair and understanding trade-off here. Okay? But they're the one group that I know. And if you guys know more, link them down below. Tag their website, right? Make sure that they're reputable. But one of the biggest fights, like if we look at really where the fight is, and we're going to talk about this is where we're going to get into the solutions part of this. You know where the biggest fight is? The biggest fight is on social media. And that's not where we're going to fix it. But why is the biggest fight on social media? This comes into the number one reason that this is an issue in our industry. Like, this is where, when I was saying we're feeding the beast on social media. And you're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? We're feeding the beast on social media because there are people out there that are posting videos for views. And what the hell does that mean? There are people posting videos of colts that are getting into wrecks, of like really bad horse accidents, right? That are posting things that are completely avoidable when we work with horses, or that maybe happen as an accident, but don't need to be posted on the flippin' internet. Okay? Shit does happen by accident. That's not intentional. But there are so many videos. There's people posting videos of horses pulling back against a post. And they're like, look at this stupid idiot. It's like, no, use some fucking common sense. Use some common sense, okay? And realize if you could have a few more tools in your toolbox, you could probably help that horse from ever pulling back, right? Because from a professional horseman to somebody that's watching this video, and maybe you're a professional horseman too, having a horse pulling gas against a post and just letting them pull back ain't gonna fix the issue, okay? You gotta do something about it, okay? You gotta think through, why is this horse in this position? How can we get this horse more prepared, right? We gotta use some common sense. And sis, I'm not denying that wrecks don't happen. But guess what? They don't need to be pushed all over the internet so that you can get 100,000 views on your flipping TikTok video. That doesn't do any... See, the thing is, you think it does you good. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. What it does is it gives ammunition to the people that we're fighting against. And some of you guys are going to be like, well, this just seems a little superficial, a little dumb. Like, how can this one video or that one? It's not that one video and this one video. It's thousands of videos. It's thousands of people that are out there. Because our industry is huge. Posting this little clip and that little clip and this little clip and that little clip. Hell, there are people that have entire brands, entire channels built around doing dumb shit with horses. And they do it because they get the attention and it makes them feel good. But guess what it's doing? You're giving the people that want to see you never allowed to do what you do, ammunition. They're literally able to take your videos. If you're that person and you feel a little triggered right now, I'm good. I'm glad you're listening. They're going to take your videos and they can take those to court and be like, this is more reasons that this can't happen, right? You fuel them emotionally and you fuel them legally, okay? And so our industry, the people of our industry, horse people themselves will be the number one reason that we cannot ride horses, have horses pull buggies, do anything with horses, even own horses. Horse people themselves will be the number one reason we're not allowed to do what we love to do with horses because we keep feeding the people we're fighting against. And we gotta quit feeding the enemy. We got to quit feeding the beast that we're fighting. Okay, that means we got to use some common sense and realize that it's not worth posting that video of the horse going through a wreck or a horse going through. We have to be very conscientious, right? Because even if you put up the full-length video, there's a good chance they can clip something out. And so there's things that you can do as a professional to put up paywalls, right? Or to not put that stuff out there at all, and they'll invite people to come to your facility in person. This is not to hide anything, okay? This is not to hide what happens with horses, okay? They are large, big animals that can be extremely dangerous at times. But we have to be very diligent and very aware and very intentional about the world that we live in today and who we're fighting against. Okay? It's so easy for someone to see a clip that is for someone else that is completely uneducated and see something and just take it emotionally and have no concept of what is actually happening in front of them. And people can clip that down, they can put some emotional music behind it, and we have to realize that that's what we're fighting against. And when you go to create social media content, you have to go, okay, what is this going to do for me and my business? But also, how is this going to affect the industry? We have a responsibility to the industry as a whole, because hopefully this industry will continue once you're out of it. Once you're dead in a coffin, hopefully this industry is better than when we got here. That is one of my biggest goals, is that this industry is better tomorrow, better next year, better in the next 10 years, better in the next 50 years, better when I'm dead and gone than when I showed up in it. And I think that all of us should have the exact same goal, because we know how much of a blessing it is to our family, to our lives. And we should really want that for the next generation. But if there was ever a time that we could lose that we could have it taken away from us by people that have no flipping clue what this lifestyle is about and how much we love these horses and how much we pour our lives into them, how much we sacrifice for these animals. They have no clue what goes into the sacrifices. They have no clue the heartbreak that goes into it. They have no clue the memories that we get and we get to develop with our friends, with our family, with people we've never met before, all because of how amazing these horses are. They have no clue. And guess what? They'll only look at the negative. They're not interested in knowing how amazing it is. Most of them don't want to know. You know what they want to know? That we can't enjoy horses. And they don't even look at it as that we can't enjoy horses. They don't even think there's something to enjoy, because they think, guess what? That these animals are tortured. They think that we put them through hell. They think we put them through agonizing pain and all of these ridiculous things. And they fail to realize how much we actually put into these horses. So many of us treat our horses better than we treat ourselves. And as horse people, you're probably smiling and laughing going, yeah, my horse gets to see a chiropractor more. They eat better. They get better exercise. They have a much higher quality of life sometimes than we allow ourselves to have. And we make that sacrifices because we love them. Okay? Now, you should take care of yourself too. Okay? You should take care of yourself. Go get that massage, right? Buy the healthier food, whatever it is, right? Here's your permission. But they will not. Our enemy, the people we're fighting against, do not care. They do not see it that way. They think that we are the enemy, but they are the enemy. And we've got to be smart. When we're talking about fighting them, we can't just sit in our houses and have these conversations amongst like-minded people and be like, yeah, it's a problem. We have to fight back. We have to vocalize. That's why I'm doing this video. We have to speak up. When we find out that they are trying to push against us, we have to push back against them. They will show up in protest. They will represent at court, right? They are spending hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars in legal fees to get us to lose the ability to have these horses. Guess what? We need to support organizations like Western Justice by donations, by verbal support, by physical support if there's ever a time where we can actually show up and actually voice, and like at those town halls or whatever these events are, where we can stand up against these people. And here's the thing. If you ever come across somebody that's willing to listen, treat them right. Treat them with respect, right? And be able to explain to them in an articulate way, like, listen, this is our way of life. This is what we love doing. This is, like, I'm happy to show you how things go down at our ranch with our horses. We're not interested in, like, perhaps they have a misunderstanding, right? There are some people that will go, well, I am open to understanding your side, right? And those types of people we can have conversations with. But the people that are just straight up emotional and they don't want to hear from us, and they got deaf ears and they just want to yell at us, we can't talk with those people. It's just war. It's just on. Okay? That's just the way it is. Right? But we will not retain this right if we do not stand up. If we do not say something, if we do not physically represent, if we don't monetarily donate to the organizations that are completely dedicated to preserving this way of life will be no more. It will be a time of the past that can never be recovered. And if you look at the liberal ideology and how absolutely fucking stupid it is, and you look at what is going on, again, where you got men competing in girls' sports, they've allowed that to happen. Just this last week, you see boys win girls' state championships in Oregon and in Washington, right? That's already gone that far. The whole reason that they created women's sports in their own category is so they didn't have to compete against the boys. But the liberal ideology is like, well, that's okay because they think they are. Okay? Well, guess what? That's more far off than us losing our ability to have a lifestyle with these horses, to have a lifestyle with cattle, to have a lifestyle with goats and sheep, and have a farm where we own these animals. We can raise them. We can take care of them. We can help them lamb. We can help them foal out. We can help the cow calve, and we can raise it up, and then we can feed our families. That idea to them is absolutely barbaric and astonishing. But it's a way of life because we know how much respect we have for these animals. I was just talking with a guy that came to buy something from our farm here, and he was talking about how he raised 2 goats. And he raised them to put in the freezer to feed his family. And he raised these 2 goats, and he had got to the end and they become his friends. And he loved these little goats. They were his buddies. But he's like, this is what I got them for. And he did. He went through the whole process. He goes, he felt terrible. And I asked him, I was like, but how much respect, because he had never done that before. And I was like, well, how much respect did you have and how thankful were you for those animals, for what they did for you and your family? And he could barely put it into words. And I think so many of us understand that feeling of, we love these animals. We take care of these animals. And if you lose a horse, I lost a 3-year-old gelding to EPM, right? EPM is a nasty disease. And I sat there in the barn and freaking bawled my eyes out. Why? Because I bought the stallion. I bought the mare. I bred the mare. I AI'd the mare, right? We raised him. He was born on my birthday. And, we raised him. I started him. I trained him. And then he got sick. And he went downhill so fast. And we did everything we could to save him. And we couldn't. And I sat there in the barn and I bawled my eyes out when we put him down. Why? Because we love these animals. They mean so much to us. And it's not just a lifestyle, something we enjoy doing. It's part of who we are. It's part of how God blessed us in our lives. And that's worth fighting for. I've got a young family, and I want them to be able to grow up in this lifestyle. And I'll be damned if somebody that is in some fucking city somewhere is going to come along and try to take it from us because they don't know anything they're talking about. I'm more than willing to open the gates to the ranch and show them around if they want to learn, if they want to see what it's about. Because we raise our own chickens for eggs. We raise our own meat chickens. We raise sheep. We got horses and cows and goats. And we do this because we love it. It's a lifestyle to us. And we drastically care about these animals. But also, I'm not going to let them take that from me. Right? And I know that you feel the same way, but we've got to come together. And it's all good to talk about this, but it's the actions that come in behind it. It's going out there and speaking and telling people, this is a real fight we're up against. This is no joke. This is real. So you might be listening to this wherever you are, but this part has to sink in. We have to take action. Go support Western justice, right? When you come across somebody that's against it, have an articulate conversation. You can't convince them, but you can at least explain your side. Plant some seeds within their lifestyle. When you find out if there's people protesting or fighting against a PBR event, a horse event, a barrel race, a horse show, right? You need to contact your legislatures. You need to stand and be we want these people out of here. You can fight against them. Okay? they don't have the right to come in here and do what they're doing. Okay? But if our voices are not heard, they will be the voice that is heard. And then that will be what happens. Right? It's in our play. It's in our play. We will be the reason, as horse people, that this industry no longer exists in the way it currently does if we do not do something about it. That means we got to quit posting stupid shit on the internet that gives and quit feeding the beast that we're fighting. Okay? That's the number one thing. And then from there, we got to take some action. And we got to fight back. All right? So with that being said, y'all, let's go out there. We got to come together. I don't care whether you wear a cowboy hat or a helmet. I don't care whether you ride gated horses or quarter horses or Arabs. I don't care. We're all in this together as a community. And if you're a horse professional that's listening to this, it starts with you. That's why most of my content is geared towards horse professionals. Why? Because we got to lead from the front. It starts with us. Okay? We got to lead by example. That means we got to go out there and we got to be vocal. We got to stand for something. You know, if you don't stand for anything, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right? You got to stand up for something that you believe in. You got to have a freaking backbone. Screw what your clients are going to think about it. Right? If you have clients that don't agree with fighting for this lifestyle, they're basically the enemy. Okay? Like, we got to stand up. It takes people with background. It takes people with courage. It takes people that are going to take action. Right? Like, action takers are difference makers. All right? Action takers are difference makers. And we got to make a difference in this business, because otherwise there will be a difference in this business, in this industry, and in this lifestyle. And it's not the difference that we want. So we got to go out there and take some action together. I want you guys to drop any thoughts, any comments that you have down below this video. I know I'm fired up and I'm losing my voice because I've been rocking and rolling on here. But I really appreciate all this. If you'll hit that like button, if you'll hit that thumbs up, if you'll hit the subscribe button, it'll really help the channel. And we've got plenty more. We're going to be tackling hot industry issues that are going on. There's so much, whether it's Mustangs, horse slaughter, all these types of things, like what's going on within certain show organizations. Controversial issues have to be talked about. We have to tackle these within our business. Otherwise, we're going to end up with solutions. We're going to end up with results that we don't want, right? We have problems. We need solutions. We got to talk about them. And then we got to actually take action. We got to actually take action and implement on the solutions that we have. And we got to have this conversation together as a community, because this is an industry as a whole. This isn't what one guy wants or what one girl wants. This is what we're moving towards as a community, as an industry together. So I hope you guys go out there and have a blessed day. I hope you share the hell out of this. I hope if it spoke to you, let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, you'll probably like this one or wherever they're posted on here. So go check those out right now.